found something rather interesting. Michael, there are hundreds of tapes inside the office. However, there is one tape inside a safe. Yes, Michael. Right away. Magic has nothing to do with it. My heads are always clean. The fastest. Sorry, Michael. Wrong. We're only using place names with a double vowel and a double consonant. Oklahoma has 2 sets of double vowels, but no double consonant. Now, if you had said... Yes? Michael, do you know why Mr. Miles has sent for us? For you? Thank you. Wrong. It's just that my circuits function better when we operate in a reality mode. Yes, Michael. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Michael. A bull? Really, Michael? You want me to chase a bull? I'm not a matador. Very well, Michael. To investigate what? You call that logic? How would you like to hear a little music? Michael? That person up ahead is the one that tried to violate me last night. He's over the rise, about 100 yards ahead. Exactly. I'm afraid there'll be a slight delay, Michael. I'm going to have to make a pit stop very shortly. I was using the term in its literal sense, Michael. If you'll glance at my fuel gauges, you'll see that I'm virtually operating on fumes. It wasn't Bonnie's fault. It's just that her route plan didn't include the 200-mile diversion involving you and that young lady you met back in... A very inept analogy, if I may say so. Blood has virtually no combustible capabilities at all. Michael, if you didn't want my expertise, why did you just program me with all this data? Here it is, Michael. Michael, do you realize that it's 2:32 in the morning? This is no time to perform an errand. Of course not, but I need to charge my power packs occasionally. And speaking of dates, we could have performed this task this afternoon if you hadn't visited that Rosalie woman. Michael, why do you need to socialize with so many women? Wouldn't one be sufficient? No, Michael, I cannot. When you're one of a kind, companionship does not compute. I must say it's an extremely clever plan, though. Must have been Mr. Miles' idea. Because it entails a rather objective and sophisticated insight into your basic character. Of course, with your usual lack of subtlety, you would have no problem at all in panicking anyone with anything at all to hide. Actually, we might even go so far as to say, yes, Michael, I know. I suppose you also find it tedious to conduct your surveillance from a rented beach house. All expenses paid by the Foundation, of course. Working with...
Well, there were a substantial number of vehicles at the party last night. Doing a comparative analysis of license plates can be very involved, sometimes as far back as the factory where the car was made. I hate to be the one to break this to you, but automobiles are not human. They have no lineage or personality. You've probably begun to form a psychological attachment to me. That would be a logical human response. Michael, your 1956 Chevrolet go into surveillance mode? Michael, how much longer will we be staying here? The sea air is very bad for my circuitry. Michael, you don't have enough flowers. My sensors show Maria Elena already has a visitor. Michael, I can serve you better if I'm familiar with your strategy. In other words, we're winging it, as usual. Wally and the Beaver? That doesn't compute, Michael. Are they a part of the counterfeit operation? Michael, I hope it won't be much longer. This dirt is beginning to clog a few of my more sensitive instruments. Despite what you may think, I'm perfectly capable of handling my responsibilities. Perhaps, but the stuff of ancient Indian civilizations is wreaking havoc on my turf. Michael, C is beyond your grasp, and D is beyond your vision. It's a cross I have to bear. Thank you. Michael. Are you all right? I took the liberty of scanning your vital signs. Your blood pressure is 190 over 120 and your pulse is 104. Not according to my information on the human body. Michael, I'm picking up a transmission in a highly stylized dialect of the English language. In other words, slang. I'd rather you didn't. I must say, the more I listen to CB channels, the more impressed I am with truck drivers. They're concerned for wildlife, for example. Every time one of them spots a bear, they immediately report it to all the others. I find that most praiseworthy. Michael, there are two things I still don't understand. What were Julian's fishing trips a cover for? Michael, my sensors are concept of fishing, Michael. According to my information, the object of fishing is to catch fish. But we've been gone 2 days, and despite all the time you've spent fishing, you didn't catch any fish. You won't like it. The water is 15 feet deep, and he'll be going up a 60-degree incline. Not on your life, Michael, or mine. Does this mean another stay in one of those dreary police impounds? Thank you, Michael, but I noticed that myself. I'm yours to command, Michael. Anything you can think of, I'm sure I can perform. Modesty is a state of mind, Michael. I only deal in facts. No, Michael, but there is a helicopter.
Michael? Michael? Michael?